Hello everyone, I am Shruti Vijayarki from BISP Solution. In this video, I am going to explain you the binomial distribution in Excel. So first, I am going to explain what is binomial distribution and how the calculation has been done, and then we will work on the Excel sheet. Binomial distribution is a type of distribution in statistics that has two possible outcomes. For example, a coin toss has only two possible outcomes, heads or tails, and taking a test could have two possible outcomes, pass or fail. Okay, so this is called binomial distribution, which gives us two possible outcomes. So the binomial actual mathematics calculation has been done with this formula: px equals to factorial of n divided by factorial of n minus x into x factorial, and we can say it a combination of ncx into multiplication of p to the power x into q to the power n minus x. So x is the total number of successes, that is pass or fail, heads or tails. Then p is the probability of a success on an individual trial. Q is means 1 minus p, and n is for number of trials. And binomial distribution must also meet the following three criteria. The first one is the number of observations or trials is fixed. In other words, you can only figure out the probability of something happening if you do it a certain number of times. This is common sense. If you toss a coin once, your probability of getting a tail is 50%. If you toss a coin 20 times, your probability of getting a tail is very close to 100%. Okay. The next point is each observation or trial is independent. In other words, none of your trials have an effect on the probability of the next trial. Okay. And the last one is the probability of success is exactly the same from one trial to another. So now I am trying to explain Excel binom dysfunction, which stands for the binomial distribution, and this function is provided by Excel to work on. And this function returns the individual term binomial distribution probability. Use binom dist in problems with a fixed number of tests or trials, when the outcomes of any trial are only success or failures, when trials are independent, and when the probability of success is constant throughout the experiment. For example, binom dist can calculate the probability that two of the next three babies born are male. Okay, so this function does take the following four arguments. The first one is the number s, which means the number of success in trials. The second argument is the trials, that means the number of independent trials. The third argument is probability s, which means the probability of success in each trial. And all the arguments are required argument. And the last argument is the cumulative, and that means a logical value that determines the form of the function. If cumulative is true, then binom dist returns the cumulative distribution function, which is the probability that there are at most number x successes. If false, it returns the probability mass function, which is the probability that there are number s successes. So let's now begin with the help of an example of probability distribution. We have to calculate what is the chance of exactly 16 heads out of 20 tosses. That means if we assume that the coin toss is fair and the results are recorded properly, the results will follow. That is called a binomial distribution. The equation that describes the binomial distribution is built into Excel. So we can calculate it with the help of Excel built-in function. In this question, there are number of success in trials of 60 heads, because we are calculating the chance of exactly 16 heads. So that means these are the success in trials. And how many independent trials? There are 20 tosses, so this is called the 20 trials. Then probability of success on each trial. Every time when the coin tossed, then there is a possibility 50% chances of heads and 50% chances of tails. So the possibility of success will be 50%. So it is 0.5, and I am taking cumulative here first, and why I am explaining you uh, in a few minutes. So just select the cell, type an equal sign, select the function binom dist, and pass the references of all arguments. The first one is the numbers, which is the number of success, then trials, there are 20 trials, then probability, and then cumulative, and then enter. Okay, that formula answered this question. What is the chance of getting exactly 16 success out of 20 tries when the probability of success is 0.5? The answer is 0.46%, or about 1 time in 200. And now, why I am taking the cumulative value false. The chance of observing 16 heads out of 20 coin flips is about 1 in 200. That's pretty rare, but it is the answer to the wrong question. If we had observed 17 heads, we would have even more surprise. So we need to add to the probability. We calculated the chance of observing 17, 18, and 19, or 20. Okay, 20 heads. So one way to do this is to use a formula similar to the one shown above and adding up the probabilities. Another way is to use the Excel formula equal 1 minus binom dist function, and then here in place of 16 I am passing 15, then 20, and then 0.5, and then 2. With the last argument to the function set to true, that function returns the probability of getting 15 or fewer successes out of 20 tries when the probability of success is 0.5, and then subtract that result from 1 to get the probability of getting 16 or more successes. Okay? So to switch from calculating an exact probability to a cumulative one, we had to change the last argument to Excel's function from false to true, and also had to change the first value from 16 to 15, and the answer will become 0.59%. Okay, so this is how binomial distribution works in Excel. If you have any queries, you can ask me, and thanks for watching.